COVID-19 pandemic memories brings dreadful images to the minds of many in Kenya, men and women alike. According to the Demographic and Health Report, a lot of women and teenage girls were distressfully molested during restriction period, a floundering ordeal that gave birth to a remedial communication measure, the creation of Nena Binti Call Unit, thanks to their benevolent community organization.
We started Nena Binti back then in 2020 during COVID time, and we all remember that during COVID time we had a curfew, we had regulatory from the Ministry of Health asking people to stay at home and only access health facilities when it was really necessary. And when we quickly did a survey among the young people, we saw that there were a lot of issues on gender-based violence. Young people were staying at homes in homes where they did not feel comfortable, and when they needed to access services, it was a bit hard for them to access some of these services, especially from facilities.
With a proliferation of violence cases on already silenced women and girls under the pandemic, the creation of this hotline came with a luminous spotlight effect to young girls, a communication module that indeed broke the ice for the troubled-hearted women in Kenya.
In a day, we got almost over 100 calls coming in from mostly adolescent and youth. And when I talk about adolescent and youth, that is between 10 to 19 years old. Remember, at that time, schools had also closed, and these young people were home staying with their parents. At that point, there was also a lot of issues around gender-based violence. Some of them were staying with the perpetrators in their houses, and they did not know where would they go and even speak to a counselor or access services.
A magic wand that would later perforate across the boundaries and, in effect, bore a chain of collaborations in the reproductive health domain. For instance, Nena Binti overseer Nancy Okuturi's life as the center captain is inscrutable owing to her pressed schedule.
I can say most of the time, because even if I close work, because I leave at work at 5, sometimes the moment I reach my house, I will always get calls of which the clients need to be attended to.
An inundated professional swamped with concerns of teenage girls who have lost busting reproductive health ailments with limited knowledge.
Sometimes in an hour's time you might get, I find, like 15 calls, or sometimes it depends, especially now that the students, most of the students, some of them have finished school, some of them have closed, they are having long holiday. So you'll find that the calls they are coming in so much so that they can be assisted.
This coordination between the call center and convenient facilities across the country is an antidote for the ever-mounting sexual reproductive health emotions, not to mention inordinate pleasantries that comes with its success on young generations who chance the services of the center.
The very first time I interacted with Nena Binti was this one time. I had a pregnancy scare, and it was not just a pregnancy scare because previously I had had a laparotomy, so I was scared. So I reached out to Nena Binti because I had seen them on Twitter, and I texted the chatbot on WhatsApp and they responded. So we had a conversation. It was like just a normal conversation.
Just like Corazon, Michelle Mwangale had reproductive health issues that she couldn't surmount. And like her contemporary, Mwangale had her smile back after she had lost it to her previous resort.
I remember there was a time I went and took a family planning method. I had 3 years, and I was having weird symptoms. I was bleeding and my back was hurting. I was getting backaches. So I was very worried because the service provider didn't tell me I would experience such. And when I went to the service provider, she dismissed me off. This is just normal things. You'll get over it.
With almost stacking odds against her considering her wanting condition, Mwangale decided to contact Nena Binti Center and, to her surprise, wiped her stress away.
I have referred a few because I was able to share my experience I had with Nena Binti with some few friends. Yeah, I was like, this toll-free number, you'll actually get help. Because you know the other toll-free numbers, unapiga ingi. Yeah, I was like, I actually called and I was referred, and these are the services I got. And these people are very youth-friendly. They'll tell you any information you want.
Activities at the Nena and Binti Center are always at a feverish, a buzz with phone alerts owing to its ever-growing crusaders.
We've reached out to a lot of people in the community, may it be young girls, may it be older men and women, to the community about Nena na Binti.
The importance is that you can get the correct information. They demystify myths and misconceptions on contraceptives and also on abortion. Yeah, and then, you know, when it comes to abortion, we recommend getting like the safer services. So that is the most important service in Nena Binti.
A paradigm shift that has seen the growth of health facilities at favorable proximities and spurring health impact on the choking reproductive health demands.
So it is a safe place, it is so confidential, and the client just is given the opportunity to interact with the service provider. And most of the services that we provide to the Nena na Binti, we have the guiding and counseling of all the SRH services. We have the provision of family planning. They can be directed to the family planning. We also provide the safe abortion care that the clients can also be linked to the service provider, and they are able to get.
They go to Nena na Binti, they are given the right information. But if they don't use Nena na Binti, they'll go to the quacks and they go to the village. And the village, you know, there are a lot of these herbs and whatnot. And before that, many girls used to die.
Most girls or most women were stranded. They were in crisis. They didn't know who to tell. Sometimes something you cannot share with a friend. But through Nena na Binti, at least they have a platform.
Confidentiality and quality sexual reproductive health care are the twin essentials for women and young girls. Pressing needs husbanded with good health infrastructure can go a long way.
With the changing world, the change in health-seeking behaviors, we know that the health-seeking behaviors of adolescents and youth in this country is totally different. So Nena na Binti becomes one of the platforms that then allows them to comfortably access services from a non-judgmental platform, a confidential platforms, and also allows them their autonomy and choice.
While in the community, we mostly encourage them to make the call while in the field during our sessions, so that they may be able to know that the person on the other side does not know who exactly they are, which enhances their confidentiality. And the team on the other side are guided by rules which will not compromise whatever information they're giving. And they're also at liberty to share a name that is not their name. They could also share a location that is not theirs if they're not comfortable with openly stating wherever they are on matters of confidentiality, which is very key.
This growing demands, however, would require a more judicious plan to emancipate even more young girls from their mythical worlds.
I'm looking forward for it to be sustained in the society. Not only this time that they have some network with the reproductive health, but if there's a way it can be sustained in our society, because this is not the end. There are people still coming, young girls coming up, joining that age group gap. And there are also women outside there who may not know about it now. So if something sustained in the society, it will be good enough to go. I'm calling on all well-wishers, calling on donors to invest in the Nena na Binti Call Center, which is serving adolescents and youth from across the country.
Nena na Binti is the ray of hope for young women with reproductive concerns, perhaps the best ever to have a reason from the pandemic to young women.
Nena na Binti, the future to SRH solutions.